for you here. Oh yeah, we'll do some pack giveaways a little bit later on, so there will be some packs on the line. We'll do a bounty a little bit later, and we'll do a new matrix for today. You tuned into my channel. We've had the long-running series Babe in the Matrix. Well, in honor of what's gone on the last week, how could we not have a one-off with Ohtani in the Matrix? That's right. Shohei is going to be in the Matrix today. And what we're going to do is I am cloning the 2023 version of Shohei, and I'm going to put him on all 6 of the teams that were in the running, rumored to sign him. The Cubs were in the running, apparently. The Giants, the Angels on re-signing him, Seattle, Toronto, and of course, ultimately, the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Shohei will be in the Matrix, and we'll do our regular giveaway. 10 standard packs to the winner, survivor style. You have to get the first question right, and then you move on to the second question. So these are the questions you're going to have to answer. Will one of the 6 Ohtanis win the World Series? Simple yes or no. Are you going to go against the odds? Or are you going to pick, yeah, he's going to make a difference to one of those teams? Which conferences Ohtanis will have the most regular season home runs? So we'll add up the 3 NL, we'll add up the 3 AL. Which conference does he hit more dingers with? Which team will Ohtani have the highest WAR on? All 6 teams are listed there. Obviously, the Dodgers probably going to be a good guess, but hey, you never know. Number 4, Ohtani's highest regular season pitching wins. So the most wins he'll have on one of those 6 teams, will it be 1-8, 9-13, or 20 plus? I don't think he'll have 0. I didn't include 0. I'm sure he'll get at least 1 win on one team somewhere. How many MVP and Cy Young, not Younged, how many MVP and Cy Young awards will Ohtani win? So we'll total those up because, again, he could win both of them. A maximum of 4, obviously, 2 in the AL, 2 in the NL. And then a couple tiebreakers. How many Ohtanis will make the All-Star game? 6 will be in the game, so a maximum of 6 can make it, whether it's a pitcher or hitter, doesn't matter. And will Ohtani, final home run total, what will it be with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the team he ultimately signed with, without going over? So those are the questions for our one-off episode of Ohtani in the Matrix today. Looking forward to how he does. Let's fire off that to you guys right away and give you, we'll give you about an hour to get that. We're going to do that in the second half of the show. And again, 10 packs go out to the winner. So we post that a few times. Responses are turned on. Good luck. And yeah, I'm not going to talk Ohtani too much today. I think everything's been said that needs to be said on other channels, on social media. So we're just going to have some fun with Ohtani in the Matrix. Okay. What else do we got going on? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's go to the Twitter site here. Doesn't look like a teaser for this week yet. That should be coming out either later today or early tomorrow. Sporer did announce that the PT Plus bonus is coming out tomorrow. So if your PT Plus has expired recently and you forgot to renew it, then you might want to do that today because it's not retroactive. And if you haven't subscribed to PT Plus, maybe try it out for a month and you'll get that new bonus, whatever that might be. Sometimes it's cards, sometimes it's packs. You just never know what they're going to surprise on us. And it's December. So, hey, maybe we're going to get an extra special one for the December. I don't know. I have no clue what it's going to be. And of course, Tuesday's Treasure Trove set released as well. And to talk about the Tuesday Treasure Trove, welcome unexpectedly to the show and in the Matrix on a Tuesday, Warbot. How you doing, buddy? You got the lap mute going for you. Must be the Phillies hat.
Okay. Is this better?
You're working now. We can hear you. We can see you. You've got the beautiful orange rocking.
Yep. I still don't understand this black stripe. It's like the whole. It's like the whole. They make it really clear how they sewed the thing on the back of the jersey with the nameplate. I don't get that, but whatever
Well,
works, right?
whatever works. And you know that tonight the Chicago Blackhawks are in Edmonton, and it's going to be Connor versus Connor, the two, franchise players of the last 10 years facing off for the first time in their career. McDavid versus Connor Bedard. So those Chicago Blackhawk fans out there, you're in for a treat. Tune in to tonight's game.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why we haven't heard much. You may have noticed the Oilers have gotten a little better recently.
Just a tad. I believe they're 7-0 in their last 7 games, and they've been rocking it. Yeah. How about your Flyers?
Not doing badly. I'm still waiting for the bottom to fall out, but they won in Colorado the other night, which is a hard place to win.
Yes, they did. Absolutely. They've been playing well under John Tortorella. And you know what? We always do poorly in our bounty on Thursday. So let's mix it up a little bit and let's try a bounty on Tuesday. If you guys want to get involved in the bounty.
Do you have a plan for a bounty? Because I could give you the one we tried a couple weeks ago, which was wonderful, but it only works if everybody buys in. Because if people don't take the deal, it gets tough.
Yeah, I do have one. I want to run it one more time. So let's run this one here. Because of the Elite series that came out, the primetime players, we're gonna run, and it should be ID 659, not 655. So let me change that quick. So if you want to buy in and take the deal, you see the rules on the bottom. After your perfect card, all players have to have a prime last digit. 2, 5, 3, or 7 have to be the last digit on the card. We tried that once. We're going to try it a second time. And maybe on Thursday, when we get one of these bounties that has 0 people in, then we can try that, because then everyone can buy in.
This one really needs one with 0, because I can tell you what we tried. The rule was really simple, is you could only have pitchers on your team.
Oh. Yeah, so you're going for the two-way pitchers.
Two-way pitchers, or just find a couple that could hit. It actually worked out really nicely, but of course, if one person just picks a few hitters, then it's tough.
Let's try that on Thursday. So Thursday, if you're going to buy in, make sure you leave a slot open for your draft, and we'll pick one that has 0 people, hopefully, and you can only draft pitchers in that draft. Okay, looks like our tournament's almost full. We got 11 out of 16 already. So that's good. We need 5 more in the bounty. You see the rules down at the bottom. Or, you know what? It's easier if I just go. There we go. We see the rules at the bottom. If you want to win some additional packs, you can win 5 packs for knocking us out. And if you follow the rules, 5 packs extra for winning the tournament. So you can get a maximum of 13 packs from this one tournament. 3 from in-game, 5 from beating us, and 5 from winning the tournament. Of course, you have to come up against us at some point to get the maximum. All right, you ready, Charles?
All right, and I'm not entering because I'm doing this with you, right? We're doing it together.
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't get to double dip. No. All right, so here's the park factors. Neutral. Nothing special.
All right.
Best of 5. So keep that in mind. It's a best of 5. This is our Tuesday bounty. We've got to win this, Charles. Starting to look bad.
Well, this is not off to a great start. Are we throwing out all these players because they don't qualify, or we get to keep it perfect?
We get one perfect.
We got to pick A-Rod, don't we?
Yeah, got to take A-Rod. The former Meta poster boy, A-Rod. Okay, 2, 3, 5, and 7. So we've got 2 choices.
That's going to be rough. I guess it's Nevin, right?
Yep. I'm with you so far. 2, 3, 5, and 7. Well, here is where we have to bench a player. Unfortunately, we get the
Well, if you're going to bench a player, then I think we should be the first people in the history of perfect draft to take Harry Eisenstadt.
okay.
I don't know if you're take a look at that card, and you can see why nobody. It's a card that looks really good, except for one tiny little flaw.
The stamina.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah, we will. If you do not have a prime player, you've got to bench them, and that's what we have to do. We don't have a prime number. It should be okay once you get to the gold rounds, but you may get a diamond round where, like us, we get to bench a player.
Well,
Okay.
I guess that's a fair question. We could ask chat which they think is a bigger handicap: benching Harry Eisenstadt or playing Harry Eisenstadt.
Yeah, exactly.
Chat may
we should
tell us
put
they'd rather have us play him.
0 and 1 are not allowed. That's right. 2, 3, 5, and 7, the official prime numbers. Yeah,
Well,
we could put up a poll. Should we play or should we bench? Oh, we'll bench them. We'll follow the rules here. Okay. Now we're going to have some choices.
all right.
2,
Well,
3, 5, and 7.
you know the player I'm going to go for here because I'm a 3 true outcomes guy. So
Adam
if you take a
Dunn?
look at that Adam Dunn, I think there is not much you could do to convince me to take somebody else, right? He's
This
got
is
power. He's got eye. He strikes out. What more do you want?
this is Charles' Christmas Eve present that he gets to open early. A 3 outcome. Adam Dunn. Okay, we'll take Adam. Lemon
And you get to pick the
Ramos.
other one.
Okay. I think no. 2, 3, 5, and 7. So we do have a lot of
it's what?
choices here.
Ramos, Levin, Messersmith. Or Molitor, I guess, is
All right.
eligible.
I'm gonna go with Chet Lemon.
All right. I
Go
was
with
thinking the
defense.
pitcher, but we'll try it this way. All right. Let's see. Got some limited options here again, don't we?
Yeah, but I think we can make it work.
Well, we could go with Bill, I guess. And we still have no pitchers yet.
Yeah, we probably should take a pitcher. So either McMichael, Avery,
Avery's not
or
great.
or Jansen.
Jansen's probably the best of the pitchers, but I don't hate the idea of taking the starter instead. So
We'll gamble.
depends
We'll
if you
gamble.
think
We
we'll
get
get some starters.
Yeah, gamble on silver and bronze. All right, 2, 3, 5, and 7. Marcus Giles.
The GT sound. The reason one is not a prime number is really simple. It's because you want prime factorization to be unique. And if one were a prime number, then like factoring 3, it could be 1 times 3 or 1 times 1 times 3 or 1 times 1 times 1 times 3, etc. So
That's why I asked Charles to come on. He's just so much smarter than I am in terms of mathematics. So
I've seen math at least. It's a different. All right. What
they're
do we
trying
got
to
here?
distract you here, Charles. Don't let them distract you.
It
We
sounds
wanna-
like what you're saying is we need a brain. Although that's not a great card, but
yeah,
it is thematic.
it is. And then maybe let's see, 2, 3, 5, 7. We got
I kind of like
Giles,
Giles actually.
Giles Sosa.
Although, I mean, Sammy Sosa does hit homers, but
He does. We're at least we're getting some prime numbers here. Or do we need a pitcher? We
need starters.
yeah.
I do kind of like Giles.
Okay.
Brain maybe is replaceable if you don't, but it is thematic.
Well, we already have a third baseman.
Brain's really not very good.
Yeah, we already have Nevin and Rodriguez. So
All right, let's not take Brain. Let's take either Sosa or Vinny then, I guess.
Let's go. We already got 3 outfielders, though. Let's go Vinny. Okay, Chris Sale for sure.
He is eligible, yes, and definitely not Eddie Taubensee.
No, we need catchers though, Charles. We might get stuck without a prime number catcher.
I think we're better off. I think we might be better off going with no catchers than going with Taubensee.
All right. I'll trust you on that one. We'll rewind the tape if we don't
Although
get
we're
to.
not left with a ton of other options. We got a couple
Sewell,
lives, I guess, right?
Sewell, Kirk.
Well, Kirk might be a better catcher than Taubensee if we're stuck.
Yeah.
What about Sewell? But hold on, I think Sewell have a fair bit of PBAP? I'm trying to remember now.
It's very splitty though.
Okay, it's a little scary.
Yeah. I think we go Kirk.
All right, we'll go the Blue Jay.
Yes. Blue Jay. Okay. Now we got some options. Jim Harden.
I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And
Yeah.
that Pete Ward is not one of the new ones today, right? I'm trying to remember.
Sporer, was this one of the new ones today? Pete Ward.
There was a Ward that was new. I don't think it's this card. No, the new one was a really splitty one.
Okay. There's Gary Ward. Okay, Gary was new.
Elvis, maybe? You like Elvis? Do you like Pagan? Elvis at least has a glove.
But he only plays short, and we're putting A-Rod at short.
Yeah, he'd be a backup, and then A-Rod backs up third when Evan gets tired or something.
I think we got to grab some pitchers while we can.
Problem is Sonnenstein's really bad. I mean,
you know what's worse? Having 8 pitchers.
Is there any other pitcher we can find? What does Merriweather look like?
Where's Merriweather? Oh, way at the bottom here.
Wow.
All right, let's go Elvis. We're going Elvis. We need a little hound dog in our life.
All right, Elvis is in the building.
Yes.
All right, Denny McLain. That is a pitcher.
That is a pitcher. Biff.
Sure. Biff's got a bat. Let's go with Biff.
Okay, we have our catchers. Woohoo! We got you, chat.
That's right, everyone. We took Biff over Drew Romo. We're just that kind of team today.
Because Mathis wouldn't qualify, would he? Isn't he rated 50 if we got him?
Yeah, he would not qualify. All right, so we are into the bronze round. We only have 2 starters.
Ouch.
But we are not offered any we can take this time, right?
Just relievers.
Okay. We're not as desperate for relievers.
Two, 3, 5. Greg Gagne, we don't need him. We're good on shortstop.
I think we're set. Perdomo at least plays second and third, so that's not a disaster as a backup. Wow, Martini, that's just not a good live, is it? Is Drew Smith any good?
Winfield's got some power at least. Yeah, this is he's not bad.
All right, I think we're probably ending up with Drew Smith by default then, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think? Perdomo? Just as a backup?
Just how about just a utility guy, just like this guy that just
the problem is you don't want him playing any of those positions, right?
Maybe second base, maybe third base. We don't need a defense on third. Look, he's got an arm and he can play third.
He has no bat.
Well, is bat important? I don't know. Me no good.
Well, if you don't have a glove and you don't have a bat,
All right, I'm making an executive decision. We're taking Dave Winfield.
All right, just keep him away from seagulls.
Yeah, keep him out of the Sky Dome. 2, 3, 5, and 7. Rob Deere.
I think we
Severino.
we probably are obligated to take Rob Deere, right?
Yeah.
We still need starters.
Well, we got to take Severino then.
Does he have any stamina? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, all right, Severino it is.
I hope, chat, you guys are having a much better time finding players because
Can we
this is
just
rough.
pretend that Mike Timlin is prime?
Yeah. Can we make him 63? Sporer, get on it right now. Change it. 63. No, we
He's really
can't.
67. That looks like 67 to me, doesn't? Isn't that what you see there?
No. Although we got to take this guy, I think, right?
Yep. Let's take Garcia. 59 stamina. We're gonna have to make work somehow.
And probably Ashby.
He's just awful though. Maybe
Beck.
Beck, and we hope for an iron option.
Yeah.
We throw a bullpen day.
Okay, let's look at our roster. We need infield help. And
Well, we
we've got
need probably 3 pitchers because we're tossing Eisenstadt.
okay, so 2, 3, 5, and 7 is going to limit us here. So let's see, 2, 3, 5, and 7.
Obanans is great. We can't take him, but
Okay, I
he's
guess we
great.
got to take Estes.
All right, Estes is our 5th starter. There we go.
So then I think we take the 5.
Actually, hold on. We don't even have 5 legal options, do we?
2, 3.
No, we have 5. We have 5 legal options. So 4. I think
4.
we're going to take the only 5 people we're allowed to take.
Yeah,
That's
no
an easy
discussion.
decision.
Yeah, there we go. 2, 3, 5, and 7. 3, 5, 3, 3.
So we're going to be
5.
rather short on pitching.
Didn't I tell
We
you
may be a little
earlier?
short on hitting also.
All right, let's check. Well, we do have 5, 8. This is best of 5, not best of 7. So maybe we luck out.
But no, but
11 pitchers.
Eisenstadt's not eligible, although
Oh,
that maybe
right.
helps us. He's not. It maybe helps us that he's not eligible, but he's not eligible.
So if you did draft someone that doesn't have a prime number, last digit, you have to go and either go to your game strategy and bench him for like 60 days, or you have to go and go to your transaction and send him on the reserve roster. That guarantees he won't play. Otherwise, you just don't qualify for the packs. Okay, now let's rank by stamina. I guess we want McLean, Harden, Severino, Estes, and Garcia.
It's best of 5, huh?
Yep. Or do we chance it with Chris
What do
Sale?
you think about running a 4-man rotation? Because that gives us an extra bullpen arm, and then just hoping we never get into a game 5.
You're putting all the eggs in one basket, aren't you, Charles? Well, how about we set Estes to
you don't always get into a
emergency
game
start?
5, right?
Okay, I'm trusting your expertise on this. Do we want closers? Do we want Sale to be a stopper?
Oh yeah, we can
Or
make
just-
Sale a closer. That works. Technically Sale can start.
He could, yeah, he could, but then he's going to go over to the bullpen.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Stopper or closer?
This is yeah. I guess closer, because stoppers, they're going to tend to pull the starter after 7, and we desperately want our starters to go 8.
Okay. So we're cranking up the hook on these guys, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, so how about, I don't know, how about just like middle relief on all these guys? Maybe something like, I don't know, like that.
Yep.
Jansen maybe use more often.
I think we can make it work.
Yeah, sure. Okay, hitters, not as big of an issue. We do have all the positions covered here. Anyone look like they're out of place?
Rob Deere might be a little caught in the headlights.
Well, yeah, we could put Winfield in.
I think with this chat we got to play Rob Deere, right?
I'm just disappointed we didn't have Silver Dave Steeb come in. One day we'll be able to draft him. I don't think we've ever had the opportunity to draft him yet. All right, let's this is where all the secret stuff happens here. We got to find a good solution to our problem.
All right. Well, let's give the slowest hook you can possibly find. I think that one's pretty important.
There we go. I'd like to click it further to the right, but it won't let me. Maximum we can
lefty
go.
righty pitching matchups don't care.
No.
Do not care.
Might as well shift that all the way up. Put that down a bit. Anything else you want to experiment with?
Well, I think we're probably good. I mean, we could always try to micro a bit and, see how bad the fatigue is. But look, all we got to do is get some good performances from our starters. Right?
That's all. This mishmash of starters with the highest PBABIP of 83, 84. Can we clone Chris Sale and just have him be all 5 pitchers?
You know what though? Our team is going to hit.
Okay.
Maybe. We might hit.
Let's find out if this is full, if it's fired off yet. It is full. So thank you guys for participating. And once it gets fired off, we will take a peek at the disaster that is likely to face us. Okay, let's get right into.
I think our streak of not winning one of these might continue.
Never say never. Never say never. Okay, let's take a look. And you know what? This set today reminded me of the set with the funny names. The Johnny Dickshot and
Yep.
the Rusty Kuntz. It's a fun set that has a theme to it. This one here, just a real weird set of profiles that, of course, are not meta. However, maybe, Charles, you can find a place, a home for some of these cards that people can utilize them in. Because on my YouTube, when I repost these on YouTube, I get some questions. And one of the comments was, can Charles, Warbot, or Isadolph always on the show? They always kind of talk to the meta side of it and if it's the new meta, but can they also find a home for these guys that's not in the meta? Is it possible to do that? So that is your challenge today, is finding a ballpark, a tournament, a league play position that maybe we can use some of these cards in. You up for the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think that can be tough because the problem is, so I think there are 2 kinds of cards that can be behind. So some cards, the reason you can't find a place for them is that there's another card that literally just has the same ratings but a little bit more. And at that point, there's absolutely nothing you can do, right? The one that has more ratings is just going to be better. These are going to be a little bit different because they are extreme, but actually in many ways that makes this a much more dangerous set to release. Because if you miscalibrate one of these, you're sort of stuck with it, sort of the same way that, Mathis was just vastly overpowered for an iron, and now there's a 50 overall card that must be run everywhere. So I think a lot of what we're going to get into here in evaluating these cards actually ends up being a little bit more a discussion of baseball than a discussion of the cards even, which is kind of fun.
Okay, yeah. That's fair.
So for example, when you see cards that strike out a ton of people and walk a ton of people, you're not asking exactly, is this better or worse than these other cards? What you're really asking is, what is the relative value of a strikeout and what is the relative value of a walk? And maybe most importantly, when you work out these relative values, usually you're working it out near the average point. What happens if you take an average major league player and he gives up an extra walk? How much is that one extra walk worth? But if you take an average player and he gives up 20 extra walks, that's maybe worth a different amount than if 20 times he gives up one extra walk. And that's something that actually is more a baseball problem than an OOTP problem in terms of how you model it.
Okay.
So I can show you a few things that are relevant, but that's going to be part of the discussion.
All right. Well, let's show a couple of these off, and we'll see where it takes us here. If there is an opportunity to say, you know what, I think you'd have some fun trying this out in this tournament, because again, these are new cards, and maybe there is a place or two that we can use some of these. So Travis Wood, obviously, when I look at it, I play iron. Not going to fit anywhere on an iron team. If you love the Cubs, if you love Travis Wood, congratulations, he's in the game. What do you have to say about Travis?
Yeah, so that's an example of one where here I'm just going to see if I can pull up an example. So I think you're more interested in running him against lefties than righties, definitely. But I think the problem with this card, give me a second to just check, just because it's always good to check these things and actually make sure that it's what it looks like. Yeah, so the problem with this card is simply that even against lefties, there are other kind of low irons that just have a little bit more of everything. So for example, so actually as an example of a really good low iron, there's a CC Sabathia that's a 48. And if you look at what CC is giving you against lefties, or what I can do, give me a second, I can just pull up the card. Maybe that's the way to do it.
Sure.
Give me a second to set that up, and then I'll show you.
Okay.
So this is an example of one where I don't think we're going to be able to find a place to play it, just because the things he's good at, there are other cards that are just going to be better.
While you're doing that, let me just remind everyone in the chat that the Laptop Hound Low Level Leisure Lounge Daily is offering up monthly extra prizes, extra packs. If you finish first overall at the end of the month for December and for January, I'm awarding 20 extra packs for being top of the leaderboard, and 5 packs to one of the random placers. All you got to do is place from first to fourth. And as the Hoosman mentioned earlier in the chat, the Dodgers are just killing it, finishing first twice in this tournament. They finished second in this tournament. Congratulations. And the Dodgers are in the lead with 11 points overall. So this is something that fires off every morning about 11:30 Eastern. So get involved, enter into it. It's only bronze and iron cards. So kind of what is more my specialty, the lower levels. I enjoy the lower level cards in tournaments. So I even placed once. I finished 4th. So Lap is currently in 27th place. But there's a couple managers here. You got Rojo. We've got the Dodgers, the Pub Goers, the Oklahoma. So yeah, get involved. Enter as often as you can. Use that tournament slot and see where you can qualify at the end of the month.
Well, I entered today, and just don't ask me how we did.
Well, I'm out of it already. Good on Izadafo. He finished second in one of these. I don't see your name though, so I'm going to say 1 for Lap, 0 for Cub.
I'm gonna predict that after today, the score will still be 1-0.
A first round exit, was it?
I think we made the second, but yeah. So here's an example. Here's an example of a bronze live card, where this is also a splitty card, but if you just compare what you're getting versus lefties here, there's just a lot more of everything.
Okay.
right?
There you go.
So this Travis Wood is an example of one where I don't think there's kind of a clever spot to play him. It would have to then be a tournament where it's restrictive enough. So for example, it would have to be a tournament that's an era where there aren't as many pitchers available, and then maybe no live cards so that you can't play this Tin Hill. You'd have to have a very restrictive way of doing it. Because
See,
there are cards that have a similar shape but are just stronger.
that's what I love. That last little bit of that part there where you said, in this situation, then you can take this card. Excellent. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Next up, we have Galarraga, the pitcher that came this close to a perfect game, or was it a no-hitter? I think it was a perfect game, right? That close.
I think some people would have said he came even closer. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one,
everybody but the umpire.
So this one I'm playing. I'm playing just because of that pitcher BABIP in iron. This is a card that if I see him in drafts in the Laptop Hound Daily, I'm taking him. Prove me wrong.
So I think this is one where you do have to, where you are going to have to really compare kind of the value of, pitcher BABIP with everything else. He's again a lot better versus righties. So I think, if you're thinking about using him, for example, out of the pen, then you want to kind of look at how other low iron pitchers are going to do against righties, and I think that's the place that he's going to shine. So as a two-way card, I don't have him really very playable because even though he has pitcher BABIP, he kind of isn't giving you anything else. And he doesn't make enough outs on balls in play to make up for all of the outs he's not making everywhere else. But just against righties, this is a really good card. Against righties, this is the best card listed as a starter and probably the second best low iron behind Ken Tatum just against righties. So if you think you can find a way to use him in your bullpen so he's only facing righties, then that would be a place you could use him. I tend not to trust my manager to get the matchups right, so I think it's going to be hard for me to find a spot, though.
Yeah, I hope down the line that's something that the game engine gets better at in terms of the use of specialists, because when you assign them as a specialist versus certain hitters, then you want them in the game more often than not. So that is something that I hope that eventually, OOTP and the developers are able to fine tune a little bit, because I think that's an important part of the game when you have cards like this that serve a really good role, but you don't trust the AI currently how it's working. So, okay.
I know there's a trick that Isadafo has suggested a few times where what he likes to do with a card like this is in a cap tournament. The thing about a cap tournament is you're often running the same starters against everybody because the gap between the cards you've paid for and the cards you haven't paid for is enormous. So you'll run even hitters that are fairly splitty, you'll just run them against everybody because they're still better than your backup even on their bad side. So if you had a cap tournament where you think that some people are going to run a mostly righty lineup, this might be an interesting card to kind of have on the roster and then, only use in the cases where you're getting that all righty lineup and that you're not going to face lefties. But I think it would be kind of a weird circumstance.
Fair point. And Montreal Expos get some love, and Sporer is always very complimentary towards the Canadian baseball teams, Montreal and Toronto. So here we have a Gil Heredia. I can't remember. Oh, there it is, 1995. And here's kind of the opposite situation of the last card we saw, where the home run suppression is a lot higher, control's really high. Is there a situation in iron that this card can be useful?
It's going to be tougher because that pitcher BABIP is just so low. Maybe you could find some kind of extremely BABIP mashing park, but I think the pitcher BABIP is just so important in the engine right now then it's going to be hard to find a place for this one.
Okay. And again, today's set is for those of you just tuning in, for those of you new to OOTP, not every set that is released is meta. The Tuesday Treasure Trove set is meant to be a fun set, a reflection set, a set to celebrate certain players, to give some spotlight to certain guys that might not normally be in the game. That's what the purpose of these sets are.
Actually, I should say it's a little bit different way to say it, because I think you could design a low pitcher BABIP card that could be playable. Like I've been playing this Cliff Lee, from bronze for, at even higher levels with low pitcher BABIP. I think it's more, if you look at what this card does specifically, the problem is what pitchers have to do is, they have to get out somehow, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a card that isn't putting a lot of balls in play, you strike a lot of batters out anyway. For example, maybe you could get away with a little bit low pitcher BABIP. The problem here is he has low stuff, so he's not striking people out. He has good home run prevention, so he's keeping the ball in play. He doesn't walk people, so he's putting the ball in play. What's happening is this is a card that puts a lot of balls in play and is bad when the ball is put in play. So I think the cards that can get away with a lower pitcher BABIP are the ones that are doing enough good things when the ball's not put in play. It's kind of like the 3 true outcomes guys for hitters, right? You can
you
get
bring
away
one
with
up on screen?
Very low BABIP if you're doing other things really well to get on base and create runs.
Bring up a couple of those low pitcher BABIP guys that you find can work.
Well, so actually, one example. Do you have the Roberto Hernandez?
Is that from today?
I'm guessing it is, because I haven't seen the card before.
Roberto Hernandez. Let me go through the different slide. There it is.
If not, I can bring it up. It's a 40 overall. So he's compared with other cap cards.
Yeah, here he is right here.
Okay. So this is a card where, the low pitcher BABIP is still a problem, because if this card had more pitcher BABIP, then obviously it would be better, just like if it had more of anything. But this is a card where actually kind of anytime he doesn't strike somebody out, you don't love the outcome. He's going to walk a lot of people. He's going to give up some home runs. So from that point of view, giving up a single isn't quite the worst thing that can happen when he doesn't strike somebody out. And so this is a card where, at least against iron cards, which do tend to strike out a lot, this card might strike out enough people that you could play him in like an iron cap where you're looking for a 40 overall. I'm still not playing him like in full iron, but he's 40 overall. So he's really competing with the 40 overall cards, not with like the 59 overall cards.
So ideally, if you have a low pitcher BABIP, and again, for the new players out there trying to analyze the ratings, low pitcher BABIP guys, ideally you want high stuff to try and get the strikeout and high control.
Yeah, or the control, the control even matters less than it did before.
Oh.
High everything is you always want higher everything.
Right.
But the point is, if most of the balls that are put in play are hits, then avoiding a walk actually isn't so important, because there's a decent chance that guy was getting on base just by putting it in play.
Bring up your Cliff Lee on screen there.
Sure. So Cliff Lee,
not that one.
I was gonna say, well, they're sort of the same shape, right? They're just a little different. So this is a card with lower pitcher BABIP, but he's good at everything else. And if you took the same card and gave it like a 90 pitcher BABIP, then this is probably a diamond. But this is a card that's been playing in bronze for the past few weeks, and I'm at least still playing. I think some people are starting to move away from him.
I think Izadafo isn't a fan of this one. EVC isn't a fan of this one, I believe. So it's great when we have a card like this where it is divided, where it's not an obvious have to use or don't have to use, where you get the community that people like them or people really don't like them based on the shape. I like him. I know you like him. So because he has the high control, even though the stuff isn't, over 80, it's still enough for him to be a playable
Yeah.
card then?
Yeah, there's also a bit of diminishing returns on stuff as well. So I think maybe this is actually a good point to mention. It often looks on stream like Isadafo and I disagree, and that must mean we have very different models. And that's not nearly as true as it looks. So maybe I don't know how much you want me to say about it, because you were thinking about maybe doing on a later stream. I mean, maybe I should mention a little something about kind of where our modeling on pitchers comes from and kind of what people do to make a model.
Yeah, let's save that for another stream because I want to, get into the matrix and stuff, and I want to be finished by a certain time. I think that's a good conversation for another time on how
Okay,
you
well then
guys model.
let me show one thing and see if that's a good way to here. Let me see if this is a good way to make the point. So for example, let's take a card, because we're going to look at a couple cards, that have an enormous stuff rating, right? And I know we often talk about there being like diminishing returns for stuff. So let me just show an example of what happens when you change stuff here. So this is no EVC, not this time. Here, did that share? So this is I forget what tournament this was taken from, and I think this might even be from PT23 instead of PT24. I don't remember where the source is, but just to show you the idea, what you're seeing here is kind of, if you can quite read those labels, the x-axis here is the stuff rating that the card has, and the y is what the strikeout rate is. So I think there are two things that you can see here. One is there's kind of this break point where once you got above somewhere around 80 stuff, the value of higher stuff went down. So going from like 100 to 110 didn't give you as many extra strikeouts as going from like 60 to 70. But the big point is anybody who's looking at data like this, whether it's me, whether it's Isadafo, whether it's you sitting down trying it yourself, everyone's going to come up with about the same relationship. And all we're doing when we make a model is we're saying, okay, here's a new card. You just told me its rating is, 77 stuff. How many strikeouts is it going to get? Well, let's just look at, where 77 stuff is. It's going to get the same strikeout rate that everybody else who has 77 stuff has. So when we make these models, that's kind of the basic thing we're doing. When Isadafo and I disagree on the value, we're not actually disagreeing on how many strikeouts 77 stuff rating is going to give you, or how many So like, we're not disagreeing on how many strikeouts Roberto Hernandez is going to get. Where we get different answers is on the baseball side of it. Is a pitcher that so for example, in major leagues, there's this idea of FIP. So you're trying to kind of take the defense out of it, and you get some relationship where, for example, the thinking is that if I strike out 3 extra hitters but walk 2 more hitters, that's about a wash in Major League Baseball. Okay. Where Isadafo's model and my model will disagree is in perfect team, which works a little bit differently than the majors and has this different model for pitcher BABIP and different things going on. Is that ratio still 3-2, or is that ratio a little bit different? So one of the places we disagree on the most is people probably have noticed if they've seen my streams, my model seems to give the most relative value to walks compared with hits of the different models out there. So that's why I end up liking these really high I cards. But that's the difference with these cards. It's not that we're kind of saying, we did, it's not that we're going to get different answers for how many people Roberto Hernandez is going to strike out. It's that we're getting different answers for, is a guy that manages to strike out like 14 and a half batters per 9, but also walks 5.5. Is that good or bad in baseball? That's where we're disagreeing. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep. No, absolutely. And again, I love to do kind of a modeling show for us beginners and see kind of the inner workings of how you guys do something like that. And I'm just trying to get spreadsheets down and
yeah, we know we can
modeling.
show some examples, but I think that's the place. So I think anyone that starts making models is going to be able to take data and do a fit like I just showed and figure out, how many strikeouts will 77 stuff give you. It's going to be the baseball side that then gets tricky.
Okay. Don't forget, guys, enter into the matrix. I've pinned the post in the chat there. We got 33 entries for Ohtani in the matrix today. Yeah, Shohei is going to be placed on the 6 teams that were vying for him in 2023. And we'll see which team he does the best on. So make your predictions. 10 packs go out to the winner. And I also just posted again the link to fill out your requests for cards you would like to see on a future episode of the Tuesday Treasure Trove. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go and take a look at a couple more pitchers.
Sure.
And then we'll look at some hitters. Chad, if there's anyone specific you want us to look at, Dogberry, thank you. We'll talk about that later.
There are a few irons that I think definitely maybe are worth highlighting if you're kind of just looking for.
Okay, I like this
a
guy.
couple highlights.
I like this guy.
I love the name. So again, this is going to be one where it's a unique shape, right? And that means in the right kind of format, this is the best of its type. So I think overall, if this were a 49, I would probably just run him in low iron. I think as a 50, he's close to playable, but I think not quite top 5 in full iron. But this is an example of a card where if you could run him in dead ball, this is not just a good dead ball card for an iron. This is a better dead ball card than many of the diamond and perfect dead ball era cards, because that's one where it's really pitcher BABIP and control that dominate. And this card's pitcher BABIP and control are as good as a lot of the real dead ball cards. Like, for example, a lot of people right now in the dead ball weekly that just happened today, a lot of people were starting Monty Ward. And if you compare this card to Monty Ward, give me a second to pull it up because I can't do it in, I can't show his pitching ratings in the card shop, right?
Right. Yeah, you have to pull up the card. Yeah.
I have to pull up the card. And I'm forgetting to share again. Let me share again. But what you'll see is if you compare this card to Monty Ward, who people are actually just plain starting in dead ball, in an early enough era where it's just pitcher BABIP in control, this card has more pitcher BABIP in control than Monty Ward. Now, in 1920, there are still some home runs. So I think for the 1920 dead ball, I would still rather play Monty Ward than Hacker. But if you had like a 1908 dead ball, then you might start to prefer a card like Hacker. So even though he's got a low overall, and definitely if you have sort of a dead ball era cap, then this is a really interesting cap option because he's cheap and he's still good. So the lower the cap and the more you're kind of tight for space, the more you like a card like this.
Well, and synchronicity. We got a 50 Jeff Mathis. He needs a pitcher to go with him. So we got a 50 Warren Hacker now. Hacker and Mathis. Is he better than the Ed Walsh? I rock this as saying he might be even better than the Ed Walsh.
Let me pull up Walsh. So I think, he's got a lot more pitcher BABIP than the immortal Ed Walsh. So I think if you go to an early enough era where you really don't care about stuff and home runs, yes. Like, we had an 1876 tournament last year. In 1876, there just are no home runs. There basically are no strikeouts. So you really can just ignore those top 3 ratings, then Hacker's better. He is so low in these other ratings that even with a low home run, even with a low home run rate, but not zero, this is a card that's going to give up home runs. So you do have to worry a little bit. But if you go to an early enough era, yeah, there's an early enough era where he's better than Ed Walsh.
Right. Well, fun card, Sporer there again. And that's what the intent of today was, some fun, unique shapes. And here's one that in certain situations can play. Another pitcher I want to talk about that I thought looked really good for low bronze was this card here, Jonathan Sanchez. Again, probably in the bull. I don't know where does he fit in bronze, low bronze?
I didn't have him as high, but actually the couple of cards that I think maybe are worth pointing out are the Lee Smith and Mitch Williams.
Okay, let's go to those ones.
Those are maybe good ones to show.
Oh, look at that stuff. I forgot. I didn't see the stuff first time.
Yeah, well, if not for the stuff, this is not an interesting card.
Yeah.
Clearly you're only interested in this card because he's got a lot of stuff, but he does have a lot of stuff. Now, as I just showed a few minutes ago, what you get, for moving from like 170 to 180 stuff is not nearly as many strikeouts as you get moving from 70 to 80. So that stuff is not, the strikeout rate's not quite as good as that card makes it look. But still, this is a card that's going to strike out a ton of hitters. And this is, I think, going to be kind of a funny card because against iron hitters, I think this might just end up being the best iron reliever. Because iron hitters are not quite good enough at punishing the things he doesn't do well, and a lot of them have low avoid K. So this is a card that might have like Edwin Diaz levels of strikeout, basically. And the other one that's like that is Mitch Williams, which is like this card, except no control. No control, but then more pitcher BABIP.
So are you playing this in straight up iron then with that low control?
I think I'm going to try it. Yeah. Mitch Williams is a little bit scarier because, of course, right-handed hitters exist.
True. Yeah.
But I think I'm going to try to make Mitch Williams work. I'm definitely going to try to make Lee Smith work.
Cool. And then the other one was the Bronze Diaz that you kind of mentioned his name. Again, here we have a pitcher BABIP. I don't know if we've seen a lower pitcher BABIP on a Kai with blue somewhere on the card.
Yeah,
wasn't Sean Marshall kind of low like this, or who was
Sean Marshall was low. This is a lot lower.
But higher stuff.
But a lot higher stuff. Now this card, there is a big difference though, which is this card is going to have to go against bronze hitters.
Right.
And that's actually a big difference because a lot of the big iron hitters are actually incredibly low avoid K, that's just one of their flaws. So, for example, you're still seeing a lot of cards like Dave Kingman, who has like a 17 avoid K. Adam Dunn is at 30. Mark McGuire is at 20. Matt Olson's at 44. If you're running Mathis, by the way, he's only at 45. So a lot of the big iron bats are very low avoid K, which means the iron cards with stuff really might be striking out like almost 2 batters an inning. This card, even though the stuff is higher, has to face bronze hitters that are a little more well-rounded. So I've got him striking out probably more like, 13 or so batters an inning. So it's a big difference in terms of strikeout rate. But
and of course, if there was a low bronze tournament, he would be a given then, right? Because you're not facing those higher bronze hitters.
I still think I am going to try to run this card in bronze.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm going to give up a lot of singles, but I'm also going to strike out a lot of hitters, and it's just gonna be a wild ride,
Yeah.
But I think I am going to try to do it because I think there's kind of enough there to try it. But But this isn't another example of a card where I think different models are going to disagree. And that's what I'm saying. The models are going to agree on how many strikeouts he's going to have, and they're going to agree on the BABIP he allows, and they're going to agree on all those factors. But like when Isidafo and I discussed this, I think we're going to probably have very different answers on what happens when you add up all of those factors and whether that makes him good or bad. And that's
Okay.
really because, you know, we're in a regime of baseball that doesn't happen. Like nobody plays baseball in an era where everybody bats 400, but also strikes out, you know, twice an inning. Right? That's kind of what this card's going to do. You're asking, is it good or bad if everybody hits 400 against you, but you get to strike out 2 batters an inning? And um, and usually the way things work, like EVC sort of mentioned, you know, like Tango's stuff, you know, kind of working out FIP, and that's a really good starting point. But the problem with Tango's stuff is it's made for a major league environment. So it's kind of, you know, it's one thing to ask what's the difference when you go from striking out 7 batters per inning to 8 batters per inning. But it's not really clear that if you go from striking out 7 batters an inning to 17 batters an inning, that that's 10 times as good as jumping up to 8 batters per inning. Maybe it's only 8 times as good. Maybe it's actually like 30 times as good because, you know, batters, you know, everyone gets stuck on base. We don't, that's the thing where different models are going to give you different answers.
Does it force then managers, if we're starting to see a lot of this card being used in bronze, as a manager, are you now looking, okay, I've got to look for guys with higher avoid K now to replace some of the guys I'm currently using? Is that going to come into play?
Yeah, I mean, the way I'd combat this card would be, this would be the one situation where you're actually going to get me to look for high avoid K players, is because with this card, you know, and especially with the cards in iron we were looking at, like with a Mitch Williams or a Roberto Hernandez, anything I do when I avoid a K is basically positive, you know,
Yeah.
because the pitcher BABIP is so low that even if my card's BABIP is not so high, putting a ball in play is still going to help. So it's not even clear that I need high BABIP players against this as much as, you know, low avoid K. Or sorry, as much as high avoid K. Because if I put the ball in play, his pitcher BABIP is enough, you know, just as like with the high pitcher BABIP cards, you know, the ball magically finds infield gloves. This one like magically swerves away from infield gloves.
So you're prioritizing avoid K above batter BABIP then?
I would if I'm combating this card. The thing is, at the moment, you're not going to be up against just this card. At the moment, you're going to be up against all of the other bronze pitchers plus this card. And most of the bronze pitchers instead are, you know, cards that, you know, more a card like Sonny Gray, which has lower stuff, but very high pitcher BABIP. So part of what Edwin Diaz would take advantage of is that most of the pitchers you're running against have a very different shape. And so he's mostly getting to face batters that aren't very well suited to face him. And if you had a whole bullpen full of this card, then people would start running things differently. And this is how a meta evolves.
Right. Are you secure enough, confident enough to use him as a closer, or do you kind of trust him more as a setup middle relief guy?
I'm happy to use my best guy as a closer. So I think for the moment that probably is still Timlin, but this would probably be my next option.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's I mean, I like when we see unique cards like this because again, it makes us think and you strategize. Okay, how can we combat this card, like you say, with the avoid
I
K?
also, yeah. I mean, I also, this is again, you know, thinking about things I wish you could adjust for like maybe an upcoming version of OTP. I would love to have the ability to kind of change the closer settings. I don't want to bring in my best pitcher in a 3-run game in the 9th with the bases empty, but I do want to bring in my best pitcher in a 1-run game in the 9th. You know,
Right. Yeah.
And I think managers in real life are doing this more and more. They've kind of figured out that, that there are better leverage spots. So
what's your favorite card of the pitchers then that were released today? Smith, Diaz, Hacker.
um,
Or the one you're gonna have the
I
most
think
fun
I
with?
think Diaz is going to be the most fun.
Okay. Okay.
I
There we
don't know.
go.
I don't know that he's necessarily the best, but I think he'll be the most entertaining if you're watching a game and he comes in.
Okay. All right, let's move on to some of the hitters. And one that was mentioned in chat was this one here. So Dogberry requested this card here, 58 iron. Again, here's that higher avoid K, higher BABIP. Like if you didn't look at the 58, I would think it's probably a bronze, but that I, of course, brings it way down. Now, I know right off the bat you're a big fan of power and I, and most of these batters have low I. That was kind of part of the unique shape for these batters. With this BABIP, though, is there a situation he can play somewhere?
So I think one thing that's tough is, usually when a card has no power, what you think about is it's going to get stronger in an earlier era when there aren't a lot of home runs hit. But the problem is that in the earlier era, now I becomes even more important. It's basically I plus BABIP that become important. So you want both the hits and the walks, and this card is only giving you sort of half of the equation. So what you're kind of asking, like one way to think about this from a modeling point of view is you're kind of asking, does this card get so many singles that it makes up for not getting any walks? Because ultimately you just want to get on base. If
Right.
it turns out that a card never walks, but, hits 450, that's, that card is probably going to still have a pretty good on base percentage, right? Well, they'll have a 450 on base percentage, I guess.
But Charles, isn't he going to, with that speed, with the bunt for hit, isn't there going to be opportunities for him to get doubles, triples? Isn't this a gap kind of player with this in iron?
I think the problem I have is that I think I would rather play a card like a Bobby Del Greco, where you're getting those 100 points in I, but you're still getting like 50 points in BABIP, because that card just gets on base more. You can almost think about like adding I and BABIP together in some sense, and trying to figure out like just how often is this card going to reach base. And I think the problem is I don't think this card is going to reach base as much as, other outfielders. And at the same time, although he's listed in 3 positions, this is not really a good defensive outfielder. So he's kind of only giving you value if he gets on base.
Yeah, I do agree with that. If he had a little bit better outfield ratings, I think I would definitely try this card. I still might try it out. I mean, Dogberry, that's again, that's the joy I get out of this game is when I see other players get cards in the game and it just makes their day. Like Dogberry said, he's over the moon seeing this guy in the game. It's not
Yeah, I
about
think
winning the trophy. It's
look,
not about okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just
I
gonna
agree. You
say
want to find a good spot.
for some people it's about the competition. For some people it's about the trophy and the glory. For others, it's just to have fun and play the game, whether it's theme teams or favorite players of theirs. I love that OOTP is all of that. Like it brings in all of these people that can play the game for a multitude variety of reasons. So Dogberry, good stuff. Sporer, thank you for again putting in community requests because that's an important part of the community is to to experience that joy that these other players have. All right.
Yeah,
Go
look,
ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, if you were to ask what would make me want to play this card, the answer is let's say that all of the pitchers in iron start looking like Cliff Lee. Meaning they have sort of no stuff, so there are a lot of balls in play, but they have enormous home run prevention and they have enormous control. Well, this matches up really well against that, right? Because Now the high BABIP is really important because Cliff Lee lets you put a lot of balls in play against him. And the lack of power and lack of eye don't hurt you as much as they would have otherwise because the pitcher's really good at preventing those outcomes. The problem with him here is in iron, there just aren't a lot of pitchers that have that shape. You know, the top pitchers tend to be more sort of pitcher BABIP, high pitcher BABIP kind of profiles. And this is a very bad matchup against those.
Right. That I do agree is the meta, what teams are playing are high pitched BABIP players. So until we see more of these Lee Smiths or these other cards that we talked about, Cliff Lee, yeah, I do agree with you there. Any other hitters, Charles, that stood out for you that you kind of want to cover here?
You know I'm going to want to mention Hugh Nickel.
Hugh, this guy, what's so special about this guy, Charles?
Well, so this is one where he does get on base. He does get on base.
Through walks.
It's mostly walks, yeah. So like, for example, against one iron model, I would have this card hitting only 173, but with a 399 on base percentage.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a 399 on base percentage, if we compare it with the previous card, right? The previous card is probably going to like hit 320, but with, like a 340 on base percentage. And I would rather the 399 than the 340, all things considered. Plus, this card also plays defense and really will steal bases. So I think there's going to be some real base running value. So, exactly. It's only great in the 0-0-0 park. That's right. There's a bug where you occasionally in perfect drafts have a park shown as just zeros across the board for all of the modifiers. This card will be great because he'll still walk and he'll still steal. But this is one I definitely am going to try to play. I think in right instead of in center. I think the defense in center, as much as it's decent, there are better defensive center fielders, but I really like this card in right.
So Travis Dewitt, I guess, is still the iron center fielder. I can't remember who the right fielder
doubt is. It, or even you put a big bat there like Del Greco or O.W. McDowell. Probably doubt it though, yeah. And so I think I'd run this in right, but you're giving me a card that has eye, has defense, has base running. This is exactly the kind of card that my model, which, like I said, my model's version of what it thinks is happening in Perfect Team's version of, like in Perfect Team style baseball, really does have the value of a walk a lot closer to a hit than in Major League Baseball. So this is the kind of card that my model just looks at and says, yep, he's got a 400 on base percentage, sign him up. And, don't worry about the fact that they're mostly walks. Whereas in the majors, the value of a hit would be a little bit higher. And so, a card that, only has like a 360 on base percentage, but a lot more of them are singles would start to be better.
Is this one where you crank up his speed or sliders for speed and base running?
I think if you're not going to crank the sliders on this one, I don't know who you're going to crank them on.
So there you go. Crank up. Have fun, guys. Finally, you get to crank up some base running and stealing sliders, and this guy should get on base and steal some bases for you. So.
And also let him bunt for hit a little bit, because when he puts the ball in play, it's not going so well anyway. So.
Well, yeah, that is a card I'll be looking for my iron. Another one that I want to talk about was the NEL Warfield, one that Sporer, said, I want this card on my team. I want to buy it. Whoever gets it, I'm willing to pay up for it. I think this was the card.
I think that was the card. Well, I think so.
This is anti-Charles.
I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it first to make sure. But by eye, since you know what my eye test looks like.
Yeah.
So
Power and I is
my inclination is if Sporer wants to buy it, I will sell it to him.
yeah. I when I saw this card, I thought, oh, I got to bring this one up to Charles because it's the two categories that he places the most value on. So, but look at that. He can bunt for a hit.
He can bunt for hit, and he's got some base running. So no, I don't have this card very high, kind of for the same reasons. This is a card that's going to do well against someone like Cliff Lee. And
Yeah.
so if you're playing low silver, Cliff Lee is one of the cards that you're seeing there a fair bit of the time. You also still might be seeing some, some of the limited edition Phil Hughes or some Dontrell Willis. Maybe even Brandon McCarthy. And those are all cards that this actually will do decently against. But I think you're going to see too many Dan Herons and Jimmy Keys and cards like that to really make it work.
Yeah, good point. It's almost a silver Delon. Yeah. Yeah. Very similar shape to that card. Okay.
So I do think it's a fun shape, but I just think in the current meta, it's not a good fit. I mean, the funny thing is, this card would have been excellent in some previous versions of Perfect Team, right? The big difference this year is that pitchers have this extra control over BABIP. And that just means that since they don't have like the same kind of like extra magic when it comes to other stuff, it just means that a card that's depending on BABIP is a lot easier to kind of stop.
And I would assume it's the same for the other NEL card. This time it's a gold, a high gold, a little better eye than the other one, and defense is really good. But I think the shortstops we're seeing in gold now, are above this one. Is there a situation this guy can play? Probably if he was an 84, much better for this card, but he's that high gold, so
yeah, I think
run it.
so the defense is, first off, the defense is good. And so that means at a minimum, if you were kind of faced with a card like this in a draft, the fact that he has kind of good shortstop defense means you're going to consider him. It's, in other words, it's never going to be a disaster to play somebody with good shortstop defense that has ways to get on base. And the really high BABIP does mean he has ways to get on base. But I don't think he's going to hit as well as, for example, there's a Rafael Furcal where, here I can put up a couple as an example. Here, I'm still sharing, right?
Yep.
So here's Furcal where you're also getting excellent defense, but kind of some of the BABIP has been shifted to I, and there's a little more power, and that just means it's sort of a safer bat to play. There's also a Barry Larkin, again, on one side, more than the other. Sorry, not Terry Larkin, Barry Larkin, more versus lefties than versus righties. But again, it's kind of a more balanced bat, so he's more safely going to get on base. If you want to be a bit adventurous with the defense, there's the Tony Phillips from the PTCS, where now the glove isn't as good, but the bat is enormous. So I think this bat's behind some of the other excellent defensive shortstops. But it's certainly a card that if I were offered in a draft, I would take because he does have ways to get on base.
All right. One more that we're going to go through. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick peek in on the bounty and see how we're doing.
Are we still alive, I hope?
We will find out momentarily. And then we're going to do the limited edition card from today. We'll take a look at that reliever. And then we're going to go on to the Matrix. So let's, before we get on to that card, let's bring up the bounty. We're not out yet. But
that is a really good sign.
Do you notice who we're playing in Game 5?
Oh, is this the first round? Oh, well, if it's the first round, then that's good. Well, if we're in a game 5 and we have a 4-man rotation designed to never get to a game 5, I'm starting to see a problem here.
But do you see our opposition? Do you know whose team that is?
Yeah. All right. Well, what you're saying is it's the person that already knocked me out in one draft this week in the PTCS.
Could be, yeah, could be one, yeah.
All right, so let's see what we can do here. We have no rested starter at
Beck, Smith,
all.
and Jansen.
Uh,
Yeah, that 4-man rotation didn't quite work out, did it?
all right, let's give Denny McClain the aggressive tiredness hook. Let's do that. Because we do need to aggressively hook him when he's tired. Now, here's the good news, okay? He's going to be what, about 68 to 70%? What's
Yeah,
his
69, yeah.
69? Nice. So I think there's a decent chance we can get him through, I think it's a decent chance we can get him through like 5 or 6 innings.
Okay.
Occasionally when you start a tired guy, we've been told that there's a day they just don't have it. But if it's not the day he just doesn't have it, I think he's going to be fine if you give him the aggressive tiredness hook. So give him the aggressive tiredness hook checkbox. And then let's hope.
Okay. No one's set to emergency starter, so they're not going to come in. And Sporer is running Cole Reagans. So this is who we're going up against. This guy right here. So I like our chances.
Well, except that Cole Reagans is on full rest and, McClain isn't. But on the other hand, we are running a Tiger against him.
Oh.
And I feel like there's got to be a bonus for running a Tiger against him, right?
Okay, so we're going to be maybe into some situations with a couple tired hitters here. Nevin's at 83. Bill Bay B is at 90. Do we need to change this 80 so they don't,
I
or
think
this
it'll
95?
automatically sit him, right? Unless you
So-
want to just try to run him and do everything you can to knock Sporer out, which I totally approve of.
Okay. This is we got to Sporer broke so many hearts in the PTCS. Not mine. Not mine. Maybe yours. I don't know. But so many people. So let's see if we can take out.
All right, but make sure for McClain, make sure you do set. Did you get the aggressive tiredness hook? Because that one is going to be important. So what that one does. So here's kind of the way fatigue works, as I understand it, is it just kind of keeps getting fatigued till he hits 0, and once he hits 0, he gets really bad. And the aggressive tiredness hook is going to help make sure that. So like if he's starting out at 69%, he can't go as long before hitting 0 as normally. And the hope is you get him out of the game before he hits 0.
Do we want to, do anything with our relievers to get them in a close game? Like Chris Sale right now is.
I think it's going to use the ones that are available, right? And what's Sale at? He's at
75. I'm going to change our
think
strategy here.
We've got 3 fresh relievers, right? Jansen's good. I think we're okay because Jansen's good.
Yeah, Jansen. Yeah.
Like we actually invested in our bullpen a fair bit. So I think I'm okay trying to avoid letting the tired guys go. We've got 3 fresh relievers even without Sale, right?
Okay.
I don't really want a tired Sale coming in and then.
All right.
I think we got enough.
We will find out in a few minutes if Sporer is going to take the bounty.
I assume
here.
Sporer did take the deal, right?
Oh, we didn't. I'm assuming he did, but let's. Let's just go double check because then the point might be moot. Let's see.
Well,
Let's see
because
if
if he
he's
didn't take the deal, then we would have been allowed to take Harry Eisenstadt, although that might not have helped us.
all right. Let's
I'm
take,
assuming he took the deal though.
and it's gone back and forth. So it's our turn to win because win loss, win loss. It's our turn to win. He did take one in extra innings. We took one in extra innings, so that's not good for our pitching staff.
Oh, I see. The 2 extra inning games definitely hurt us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's find out if he took the deal here.
I'm assuming he took the deal. So
5 sevens, 3s, 7s,
like a
2s.
deal.
Yep. All right. And he had to bench one player too. He had to bench Willie Mopena. So we're all evened up at 25 players each.
See, I was
All right.
thinking there could have been a fun William Opena in the like Misfit Toys set. Just a like all power, nothing else kind of card.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when he came to Boston. I was in Fenway once when he hit one, probably 500 feet, and you just it felt like it was going to be obvious that he was going to be like the next big power hitter, and then it turned out that no, he just occasionally would run into one, and you know, if he didn't, it didn't work.
Okay. Speaking of power, 96, limited edition out of 50. Joey Devine. Control is a little low, but I think a guy most of us would be extremely happy to have in our bullpen. Let's talk league.
Yeah, I think I think he's an upgrade in Diamond. I've got him pretty similar level, although with a little different shape to the Joe Thatcher tournament card that I've been running as kind of the top Diamond reliever. So
Okay.
I think he's definitely a card I'm happy to play in Diamond. I think I'm less likely to play him in League.
All right.
Or actually, maybe there's a better way to say it. I think if you have a full meta team, you're not playing a card like this in League. If you don't have a full meta team, then my guess is based on the price of other Diamond LEs, this is probably going to be maybe 150,000 point kind of card, just based on kind of where others have been. And I think for 150,000 points, if you're willing to put 150,000 points into your bullpen, you might as well get one of the high-end immortal relievers instead, which are both going to be better than this and also are going to contribute to submissions.
All right. Otherwise, in Diamond, card that you and it's an Oakland A. I mean, we got some love for the Oakland A's. Look at that.
Yeah, so if you're a theme team and you're not allowed to run some of the immortals, then that would be another good reason to get it. But for example, let's say I were running an A's theme team. My guess is that the price on this card will not be that different than the price on Dennis Eckersley. Right
Roll
now,
your
Dennis
fingers.
Eckersley last 10 is 189,000. And I don't know what this will be, but I'm guessing it'll be 150 or so. Like, what's Cal McVeigh? Because McVeigh's maybe a similar card that sort of only plays, some tournament formats. McVeigh right now, last 10 is 150. Yeah. And you could buy him for 189. So I think the point is, if you're running, some kind of theme team and looking for A's, I just think I'd rather spend on Eck. Plus, honestly, so I'm not the kind of A's fan that like Dr. Dynastic is, but I bet if you ask him, who he remembers more vividly as an Oakland A, I feel like it's going to be Eck.
Does this new card play over Rolly Fingers? Speaking of A's,
No, I think I'd play Fingers also. That's what I'm saying. It's a good Diamond card, but it's kind of a pretty low end league card compared with the top perfects.
okay, all right.
Sporer was asking about Hiller. Hiller just hasn't been on the market in long enough that I don't think there's a price.
Okay, so let's go and let's go back to the bounty here. And the game is in, Charles. And
Now I got
why
a question.
not?
You know what? Do we have to go highlights on this one? What do you think?
Uh, highlights are on. Highlights are on. We've got a tired starter going up against a rested starter.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
in
hold on. Denny McClain's used to going on short rest. He's used to going on 3 days rest, right? You don't win 31 games if you're only going every fifth day.
they got the first run in the first inning, though. And they got the bases loaded with no one out.
You're
Was
saying
that
this
a wide?
this might be the doesn't have it kind of day? Oh, did you see that framing job? Just look at where that pitch was. That is an excellent framing job.
He's got to do that 2 more times. Oh, look at that. Denny McClain on the inside. We got a favorable umpire here today, Charles. All right. Bases loaded with no one out, and we get 2 strikeouts.
Eric Gregg gonna see if he can get us out of the inning, and he does.
No. Okay, now we're going up against this Cole guy. Oh,
Well, see, that's a walk. Look, walks as good as a hit, right? 2 walks in the inning so far. That's as good
you
as 2
wanted
hits,
Marcus
right?
Giles. Let's see if Marcus Giles can deliver.
And that's what happens when you try to put the ball in play.
Okay, you also wanted Rob Deere. We got Rob Deere in headlights here. 2 on, 2 out, full count. And Rob Deere with the
And
walk.
Rob Deere does the best possible thing in that circumstance.
You are a man of walks there, sir. Okay, here's my Blue Jay catcher with the
Hey, hey,
bases
hey!
loaded.
Can I just point out that Cole Reagans has a no-hitter going? We should make sure
Yeah,
everyone knows that, right?
good point. Yeah, let's publicize it. He's got a no-hitter going after 1. Well, not anymore. See, it's already jinxed. All right, we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and the Hound is on the board. Runner coming home and safe. It is a tie game, 1-1. Adam Dunn, what do you think? Which 3 outcome are we going to get here?
Well, it's not a good sign that there are 2 strikes, but let's see if he can run into one.
What? Does he get singles? That's not very Adam Dunn-like.
It was an accident, I swear.
2 on, jammed over to second, back to first, double play, and we go to the 4th, tied at 1. Sporer as a man on first. That goes to the corner.
That's trouble. That might be trouble.
Fortunately, they have a slow runner, though, so held up. That's good with 2 out.
I love that they constantly hold runners up like with 2 out. This is one of the things that I've never figured out how to set the base running slider so that it will stop doing that.
I
They're
know.
2 out. Send the guy.
When you're playing the base game, at least a little pop-up comes that says, do you want to gamble, yes or no? And I always go,
I
yes.
always want to gamble.
Yeah.
Always.
Bases loaded, 2 out, tie game. Denny McClain still in the game in the 4th inning. Here comes the pitch, 1-2 count, and Denny McClain with
And
the
that is why
strikeout.
you gamble, because he's left the bases loaded. He's stranded him twice now.
Bottom of 5, 1-1 game, still going up against their starter. That one should drop in for a hit.
So Denny McClain got us actually managed, it was the kind of effort that, you'd expect when, when he's coming in tired, but he did the whole, ace thing. He somehow got us through 5 innings, right?
Okay. Now can
Got
we
us through
take
5 innings,
advantage?
and we're going to see if we can get him to leave with a lead.
Adam
That's the
Dunn at the
plan.
plate, bases loaded. This is the guy you want at the plate in this situation. Let's call a home run. What do you think?
I was going to say
Grand
walk,
slam?
but I guess 2-0, it's no home run. Yeah, let's see him park one here. Let's see one of these outcomes.
Come on, send him. Send him home.
Get out. All right, so you got to at least send him.
Safe. 2-1 as we go to the sixth inning, and we've got a reliever in Drew Smith. I can't remember how good he is, but Denny, you did your job.
Good. He's probably good than Denny McClain on fumes, right?
Well, I don't know about that after that pitch. All right, Sporer has
Might have
one on,
bounced.
nobody out. And that should be
If
an
this were the
easy out.
1970s, he'd be like picking over to first about 10 times here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw
Jackson.
some of the highlights, but it loved the pickoff throws in Shea Stadium.
Can we pull Dave Smith now, please? Come on, Kenley. Where's Kenley Jensen?
They're just setting up stranding the bases loaded again.
Oh, behind the back catch. Who is our outstanding? Let's watch that again.
Hold on, I want to see the replay on that one. That is a behind the back catch.
Who was that? That was our left field. That was Rob Deere.
This is like the Savannah Banana ones, right? Where they keep track of trick plays like as an extra stat.
Oh, thanks, Drew Smith. Okay, third time in the game, bases loaded.
Right, can we strand the bases loaded 3 times in a game?
We're only
this is what drives managers nuts, right?
We're only facing the perfect Jeff Kent. I mean, seriously, it should be an easy strikeout.
Wait,
right?
Is that actually the perfect Jeff Kent?
Yeah.
That is actually the perfect Jeff Kent. Wow. Somebody drafted the perfect Jeff Kent.
And look, he took a walk. So take that back, Mr. Warbot. In a key situation, Jeff Kent with the walk. Drew Smith has walked.
I take it back. He's excellent. He knows how. If he knows how to walk, he's good in my book.
Charles Johnson at the plate. I don't like this, Charles. Drew Smith. Oh, just missed that one. He almost tagged that one. We get out of it, only giving up 1 run as we go to the bottom of 7th. Aaron Crow on the mound for Sporer. Phil Nevin at the plate. Well, Phil Nevin on his way back to the dugout.
That's
Adam Dunn once again. 2 out, 1 on. Homer. Uh-oh.
Get out.
That is gone.
Get out.
Adam Dunn with the 2-run shot. The 3 outcome. Yeah, he's probably our best player. Let's name him captain now. He is Captain Dunn. And
He's done.
Kenley on arrested Kenley in the 8th inning.
I think we should be feeling okay about this now, right?
It's Kenley, though. Isn't he known for like blowing saves?
He's got all those out of his system now, right?
Okay, 1 out.
Maybe.
I just don't know who's going to come on in the 9th if they're going to bring in Chris Sale.
We'll worry about the 9th when we get to the 9th.
Yes, it is Chris Sale. We are in the 9th inning, 4-2 for the Hound.
So I know we told him to bench Sale, but Sale was just like, you know what? I think I'll just try it. What's the worst that could happen?
Don't use analytics on me, manager. Uh-oh, Jeff Kent gets under one.
It's only a little airborne.
Thankfully, it was a solo shot. So Jeff Kent with the walk late in the game.
Maybe the answer is you actually are supposed to play Jeff Kent. Never, can we put Jeff Kent back in packs?
Who wants to sell us a Jeff Kent? Chipper Jones at the plate. 1 out, 2-2 count. Strikes him out, jammed him up there. What a pitch. All right, we're 1 out away from going to round 2. Chris Sales against Sammy Hughes. Gold Sammy Hughes.
I will say, if we were to get to round 2, we may be in a little bit of trouble pitching staff-wise.
You think? And that is the
possible.
game. Our bullpen.
So, if anyone is looking for a way to get a bounty, then you should take a shot at facing us in round 2.
It's probably a bunch of clowns that are going to face us. Probably going to have to go up against those circus clowns. So, Boiler Nemo, you are next. And Boiler Nemo swept his first round series, so he's going to be rested. The Dodgers, son of Thor.
That's not fair. Why does he get rest and we don't? Just because he like earned it by winning games or something?
Where's the reset button, Charles? Where's the button that says reset all fatigue? Isn't that somewhere in commissioner mode? How do I get in commissioner mode?
I don't know.
Look at this.
Try it.
Look at her. What do we do, Charles?
Okay. Let's force bench. Will you do it? Okay, let's force bench all our relievers. We're gonna force bench all our relievers. Do it quick because the sim's about to fire, though.
Oh yeah, I don't think we're gonna get strategy. Force bench
all our relievers for 1 game, and then we're gonna tell Adam Dunn that he is a 2-way player.
I don't think we're going to get it in time in this one. That might have to be a game 2 thing.
All right, we'll do the best we can. Make sure you hit submit.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if we get it in. But I think the plan would be we force bench everybody we can. And then let's let a couple of people just be a 2-way player just for fun. Is he not allowed to be? We've got to have somebody who's allowed to be a 2-way player. Do we have anybody who has pitch ratings? How about Harry Lord? He's like a old-timey guy. He's got to be able to play both ways, right?
Yeah, they don't let us set 2-way, I think, after the tournament starts.
Oh, is it after the tournament starts? Maybe it's that. All right.
Yeah. Let's see if this works, though.
Well, we're going to force bench the relievers. And then the plan is, well, game 1's in.
Oh, game 1 is in? Okay.
All right. We're just going to hope that somebody went deep. And I don't mean the opposing hitters.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Game 1 was in a long time ago. I don't think it took. We might have to. Hopefully, we squeaked out game 1. Let's see.
Well, hopefully somebody took one for the team and, just threw 8 innings.
Wow. That's closer than I thought, but it went extra innings, Charles. Not good for us.
We lost extra innings? That is the worst thing that could have happened.
It was 2-1 for the Clowns. Our pitching staff.
Our poor pitching staff.
Man, it was Mr. Smith that gave up the game winner. Okay, so now you see a lot more red.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to force bench. Well, we're going to force bench Sale, Smith. Okay, hold on. We can definitely force bench Jansen. By the way, you don't have to go back to everyone. What you can do, for bench player, put one, but then just mouse over on the left and drag the player to the right. Just drag the name to the right.
Or just go on the arrows here.
Oh, that works too, yeah. So we want to have 2 relievers available, ideally. So because what's going to happen is the AI manager is going to just ignore us if nobody's available. So we have to give them an option. So Tristan Beck, you're allowed to throw. And who is our least tired out of Sale and Pistano? What are they at? 59 for Pistano, 58 for Sale. So let's rest one of them, but we're not going to force bench the other. And we're going to hope
Okay.
that we only use those two.
Okay. Then who's pitching? I guess we have to go with this guy at 59.
Okay, wait, let's see if we can trick it. Hold on. Under position here, for all pitchers, go to all players for a second. So let's show everybody on this screen. Can you show, I'm looking at pitching ratings. Do we have any?
Yeah,
Bill
B.
Bia, look at this. Bill Bia actually has something that looks like pitching ratings.
Yeah,
No, it's not going to let you put him in the bullpen, but will it let you make him a starter?
Where is he?
Let's say you now say 5-man rotation. And let's say you now say 5-man rotation. Will it let you make Bia a starter? I wonder. Because he has pitching ratings.
Oh, he does.
All right, now, okay. Now let's see if we can tell him to start game. We're just taking one for the team here. Can you look at, does he have real pitching ratings? It looked like he did, right?
We are no way exploiting anything that OOTP does here. We're playing under the rules of what is allowed for us to happen here. He's got a little bit of pitcher ratings.
He doesn't have a lot of stuff. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. But he's got 2 pitches. He's got a fastball and slider.
Charles, this is either going to be the most brilliant decision of the day.
Well, I mean, we're just hoping he takes one for the team, right?
Yeah.
That's all. Like, we're going to lose this game, but we're hoping to give ourselves a chance in the last 3.
All right, the Dodgers are up. The dark blues are up, and the red shirts, Ezra Denny's red shirts are up 1-0 here. And the Clowns are rested and ready to go. They are sending out, who are they sending out here? It looks like George Mitchell.
George Mitchell getting sent in for the Clowns?
Yep. And if we could have won that game 1, then I think
if we could have won game 1, then actually the series would have set up okay for us, right?
Yeah. Even if we win this game here, it might set up. Although we're getting some tired batters now. We went 3 extra inning games in the 6 games played.
The combination of the 3 extra inning, well, we could decide to rest our hitters as well.
Well, we might as well rest our catcher. And
yeah, we could decide to do that just on the theory that, like, we're really playing to actually be fresh for the last 3 games. The problem is Bill Bia, like, needs to. Oh, okay. Here's what we could do to make everyone fresh. Wait. Go back to the pitching. Yeah, hit submit, but then go back to the pitching. Set a 6-man rotation. Okay, and take whoever we really want to rest. So that's whichever of Sale and Pistano you were trying to force to rest. Put him in as the number 6 starter, because that will guarantee he doesn't come in the game.
Okay. All right. We will watch this sim come in, and then we will let Charles go, and we will go to the Matrix.
I don't even know if we want to. I don't even want to know if we want to watch this sim come in.
Too late.
We may want to like duck and hide as this sim comes in.
We're not going to watch the highlights, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to guess 7-1 for the Clowns. What are you thinking?
I'm guessing they scored a couple more touchdowns than that.
Oh, that's not the sim yet. The sims are delayed sometimes, even though the clock is running. So let's try it again.
I will be quite impressed if we hold them to anything like that low.
I'm going to say a 3-0 victory, Charles. 3-0.
For us? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
No chance, right? What does chat think here?
Oh,
Tell me it didn't go
how?
extras again.
8-7. We were that close again. Clowns, what are you doing to us? Giving us hope like that.
How bad is the
Wow.
pitching?
Bill wasn't very good. Ah. And the two guys
Well,
we
okay,
did.
but the good news is I think that means people are rested. So
Nope.
now all we got to do is win the last three.
Yeah, you see how much rest they have? A couple guys went from red to yellow. Only our starter, I think, is rested. 90%. He's our most rested player. Okay. Garcia, you're the man.
Well, I think we know what we're doing now. So
A-Rod and Rob Deere, just in case we do happen to win this game, we got to bench you for one day. As you guys have put it all out on the field. 2 one-run games with the. I guess we needed to draft more pitchers there, Charles.
yes, we did. But
Okay, well,
you know what though? Our goal was to at least make it entertaining. I think we've at least succeeded in that.
okay, I'm going to go close off the Ohtani form, and then we're going to quickly sim through that. Charles, if you want to stay, you can stay and watch that sim. Otherwise, if you want to run, you can run. Totally up to you.
Sure, I'll see if we may have made a little bit of a mess of the micro there, but yeah, these things happen, right?
Yes, it does. And Sporer, what a great first round. Came down to the last couple innings there, and you were just one run short. I'm amazed we've made it as far as we have. Okay, Babe, Ohtani in the Matrix has 33 responses. I'm going to close that off right now. I'm giving you guys plenty of time to fill that out. So let's take a look at what people are thinking here. Will he win a World Series? Majority is saying yes. Which conference has the best Ohtani with home runs? Looking like the NL is the winner, which kind of makes sense because in the AL, wow, look at the highest WAR Ohtani with 30% is the Dodgers, and then the Cubs at 24%. Pitching wins somewhere between 14 and 19, which I think is a good guess. Half of the contest entrants think he will win 2 of the 4 awards. And then we have a tiebreaker. How many All-Star appearances? 10 people think all 6 Ohtanis will make the All-Star game. And then we've got his final home runs for the Dodgers, anywhere from 18 home runs all the way up to 51 home runs for the Dodgers. All right, it is time. Let me create the sheet. Good luck to all the contestants as we go back to the Matrix. All right, just so we see the transparency here, we'll look at the 6 teams. First of all, the Chicago Cubs. Ohtani is number 3 in the batting order, number 2 against the lefties. With the Los Angeles Angels, they've got him in the cleanup against both sides. The Dodgers are going to use him in the number 3 slot. The Seattle Mariners are going to use Ohtani number 3 and number 4. And the Toronto Blue Jays are going to use him in the number 4 slot. And in terms of pitching rotation, I would imagine he's going to be the number 1 pitcher. Cubs, number 1. Angels, 1. Dodgers, 1. Giants, number 1. And the Blue Jays, number 1. Seattle, number 1. All right, so he is the number 1 starter. AI will run everything. Let's sim that first month, see how it goes. Charles, is he going to win a World Series?
I'll say yes this time. What do you think?
Nope. They were
You don't
not
know?
favorable to Babe Ruth. They're not going to be favorable to Ohtani. If Babe can't get one, Shohei can't get one.
The only thing is you did give him 6 chances.
True. Okay, let's
So
take a look
I feel
after
like with 6
April.
chances that's got to be, a little bit easier.
He is number 2 in the league in home runs with the Dodgers. 12 home runs Shohei has with the Dodgers. Also the best slugging percentage with the Dodgers, best OPS with the Dodgers, second WAR. So it looks like in the first month he's successful with LA. Pitching, I don't see any Ohtanis amongst the leaderboard. Okay, so the Dodger Ohtani gets out of the gates real quick here. Let's go the next month.
Well, he'd better do best in LA, right? I mean,
Yeah. And then we'll see if it's a wise choice. Although I'm kind of rooting for the Blue Jays. Just to show them, say, see Shohei? OOTP says you would have won a World Series with Toronto. All right, batting leaders. He is not in the top 5 for home runs, second in slugging. Yeah, Shohei is not showing up on a lot of the lists here. Let's look at the standings. The Dodgers Shohei, first place, 1 game over the Rockies. The Cubs Shohei, first place, half a game over the Cardinals. And the Giant Shohei over in the AL. Toronto Shohei, 7 games out. Seattle Shohei, 2.5 games out. And the Angels, not doing too well. Time to go to the All-Star game. I think 4 Shoheis go to the All-Star game. All right.
I
And we're
think I
just
put
fast.
4 down.
Did you? Oh. And yeah, we're just fast simming this. We're going through this pretty quickly because I want to get over. I think Dr. Dynastic should be starting up pretty quickly here. And I like to get there as quick as I can. But we need to find out how Shohei does in the Matrix as we move to the middle of June. Just looking on the leaderboards there, I do see a couple Shoheis. Dodgers, first place. Blue Jays, way back of the Rays. Mariners, first place. And the Cubs hanging in there. But we can safely say that I think San Francisco, well, actually, San Fran is only 3.5 out of the wild card. So every Shohei is still within playoff contention.
It's a good sign.
All-Star game. Here we have our first answer. How many Shoheis make the All-Star game? In the National League, no pitching Shoheis. Double check this, Charles. I don't see any here for the National League.
That doesn't look.
No. So the Cub, the Dodger, and the Giant Shohei are not in the NL All-Star game. I would never bet. Hopefully we'll get at least one American League one.
I see 3 in the AL.
Oh, all three.
But I noticed that those 3 have different ratings.
Well, maybe the game engine 60,
Yeah,
50, and
see, one of
55.
them is like 4.5 star and 4.5 star potential, and then there's a 4 and 4.5, and there's a 4 and a 4.
Yeah, they were all cloned from April 1st Shohei, and I guess the
So
game engine
which is
has
the good one and which is the bad one? Okay, so the 4-star one is the Angels.
Yep. The 4.5 star one is the Blue Jay.
Okay, so clearly the answer is the best place for him to go is the Blue Jays.
Thank you, Charles.
I like Cubs fan Steve's theory better, which is that the Blue Jays are the best team at scouting and the Angels are the worst team at scouting. Because that does actually kind of match real life.
Well, the Blue Jay Ohtani is the starter for the AL in the All-Star game. So we're not going to play it out. We're simply going to quick sim the All-Star game and find out how Shohei did. Let's finish the simulation. All right, what do we got? Hitting wise, he did not hit. All right, looks like 2 of the 3 made it in. The Toronto Shohei gave up 1 hit, and the Seattle Shohei gave up 1 hit. There you go. So 3 Shoheis made the All-Star game. So let's sim ahead to the next month. And let's bring that back on screen here. Where is it? How many Ohtanis will make the All-Star game? If it goes to a tiebreaker, 2 people got that one correct. All right, let's back out of that. Go back to the game. Chat, has there been an announcement on the teaser yet? Has anyone seen the teaser for this week's new content for Twipped? Let us know.
I think there's at least one person in chat that would be able to help with that.
Yeah, but we don't want to get him into trouble. That might be a
Just
dish
saying,
net.
I think there might be one.
I'm betting Dish will have it up later today. Okay, here we are. We're going into the end of August here, and the game is saving up. The Dodgers and Giants had quite the month. Look at that. The Giants have come to within 16 and a half games of Los Angeles. Is it going to be fun watching baseball if the Dodgers are just so dominant, Charles?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard it on good authority that a team can consistently win like 115 games and do poorly in the playoffs.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that rumor too. All right, the Cardinals, the Mets, the Cubs, the Giants, and the Phillies all within striking range of the wild card. And in the AL, the Blue Jays, Twins, and Astros. Shohei Angel, going to be tough, but otherwise, Shohei is looking pretty good to have maybe
I'm still
5
trying to figure
playoff.
out, like, how can you run a team that actually has a decent budget and has Trout and Shohei and like not even sniff the playoffs consistently?
Edmonton Oilers, just as comparison. Okay. We're getting to crunch time here. We're getting to the end of September. The Dodgers, Braves. And maybe the Rays are going to be the only 100-win teams this year. Okay, let's finish off the regular season because there's always a couple games in October, it looks like. There we go. Let's look at
The Red Sox are still not good in this, huh?
There we go. There's our playoff matchups. Shohei Toronto is in. Shohei Seattle is in. Shohei San Fran and Shohei Dodgers. So 4 Shoheis have made it. Unfortunately, the Cubs and the Angels do not make it with Shohei. It must have been pretty close, though. Let's look at the standings. Cubs were 4 games back, and the Angels 4 games back. Not quite. Statistics. The Toronto Shohei had the most home runs, 48 home runs for Shohei Toronto. So I guess we better find out what some of these numbers are here.
So what you're saying is if Shohei really wanted to, maximize his stats, shouldn't have gone to LA.
Apparently, is there a way I can just bring up Shohei if I go to customize? And yeah, Ohtani. Here we have our 6 Shoheis for you. So which conference had the highest home run totals? Do the quick math here for me, Charles. 48, 46, and 39 compared to 47, 43, and 40.
133 to 130.
Oh, for who? AL or NL?
Whichever was the first group you gave me.
Okay, that was AL. Wow. What was that? 3 home run difference?
Yep.
48, 94, and 133. Yeah. Wow, that was close. Okay, the Dodger Shohei was the second tiebreaker. He ended up with 47 home runs.
I love that the Cubs just refused to let him steal.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Like the
folks.
Dodgers were like, go ahead, picks up 22 steals in 28 attempts. And the Cubs were just, no.
Cubs were like, no, we don't want you getting injured. No, Shohei, no. And he led the league in strikeout.
Did the Cubs just not let anybody steal?
You know what? He led the National League in strikeouts with 201 as a batter. Yeah, not very successful in Chicago.
But did the Cubs just sort of not let anybody steal? I'm just curious. If you go to
I don't know. Let's go take a look at the Cubs and stats. Yeah, not much.
Well, okay, that has got to be the fewest stolen base attempts I would ever have seen for a major league. Who is the Cubs manager in this version? Is it Ross, or do they? I don't know how it works when you set up these sims. I guess you can look at who their man. Yeah, go to their front office. You can see. I don't remember how to do this, but yeah, David Ross, type sabermetric. Is there a way to see you do the base game stuff more than I do? Is there a way to see if he just like does not believe in stolen bases?
There's
incredible. Eight stolen bases led the team. They must have had like 30 steals on the season or something.
Yeah, they had 29 attempts for the whole season.
29 attempts.
Yeah. And there's their stolen bases slider. So it's cranked way down, whereas Los Angeles, look at that.
So the conclusion is the stolen base slider matters.
Well, at least for the base game, because Toronto had it cranked up too, and he stole quite a few with Toronto. So interesting. Yeah, good catch there. All right, let's go to the playoffs. You have 4 chances of Shohei winning the World Series, because that was the first question. So let's play out
And
the
just to
first
point
round.
out, the team that did not let him steal is also the team that's not in the playoffs.
Yeah. So maybe you should try that, Charles.
Maybe I should max my stolen base sliders.
Well, I mean, if it's
But see,
if
I
it's
don't have
not
a
working.
problem getting into the playoffs.
Oh, it's while you're in the playoffs. Okay.
It's that other
So
bit.
Toronto Shohei is now out. San Fran, Dodgers, and Seattle. You got 3 hopes of him winning a World Series.
You know what? Maybe I should do? Maybe I should do what I tried in the PTCS, where I just watched the replay and I saw Dick Allen not run out a ground ball. So I was just like, all right, the team's down 2-0 in the series. We need a spark. I'm just benching him. And then it worked. So maybe I have to do something like that in the playoffs.
Well, folks, most of you said Shohei would win a World Series. You got a 25% chance now, as only the Dodgers are in the running. They must beat Atlanta. 1-1, 2-1.
Not looking good.
I think, wasn't this what OOTP had predicted at the beginning of the playoffs, that it would be Atlanta, Houston? I think that's might have been what they predicted.
I don't remember.
So even with Shohei, TJ Lauerman is going to be really happy because his Atlanta Braves look like they have won the World Series, and they did not have an Ohtani on it. Dodgers came the closest. Sorry, no Shohei with the World Series. Okay, so now we got to find out how many awards he won, and then I think we can see who our winner is.
And we don't need to check back on the bounty, right? We can just assume that series worked out fine.
Oh, we're going to check. Miracles. It is December.
We don't have to check. We don't really have to check, do we?
Well, I don't know if Boiler Nemo has said anything in the chat, but he might be out celebrating. Okay, looks like the awards have been given out. Let's go check it out. In the National League, your MVP and Cy Young go to Freddie Freeman and Freddie Peralta. So I guess you had to be Fred to win. And in the American League, I'm hoping the Blue Jay Ohtani got one. Yes, he did. Shohei is your Cy Young winner and your MVP winner, both with the Toronto Blue Jays. Take that, Dodgers.
So what you're saying is, so the clear message is, if Shohei wanted to maximize his career potential, he should have gone to Toronto.
If he wanted to win, he should have went. If he wanted his best individual stats, look at that. Shohei was actually in the American League, led in ERA at 2.68. The Canadian weather. All right, so we have 2 awards. Now we go back and let's check out who our winner is. I might have to go look for a couple more stats here. So let me share that. Who do we get to give 10 packs to? Do we have all the information? He did not win a World Series, so that leaves 6 people. Most home runs went to the AL. Team with the highest WAR. Okay, let's see if we even need to get that far. Let's go create a filter. And question 1, he did not win a World Series. Underdog Ezra, Special Edition, Fussmucker, Blue Tester, and Canados. Next up, the AL. Underdog, Special Edition, Fussmucker, and Canados. And now we got to go check out his WAR. So 1, 2, 3, all 6 teams are listed on there. Let's go see who we had the higher WAR with. Probably, I'm guessing, probably be Toronto or Los Angeles. Toronto or Los Angeles WAR.
Got to be Toronto if you won everything there, right?
No, actually, Toronto was number 3. He had the highest WAR with the Dodgers.
Does that include both the hitting and pitching part? Hold on.
He hit 281.
No, but does that include both the hitting and pitching WAR when it does that, or does it give them separately? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Let's find out. 2.9.
You see, pitching it says 2.9, so I don't know if you have to add those two.
And 5.2. Oh yeah, we might have to do.
You might have to add them actually.
Okay, good catch. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that quick. So Charles, keep track here. 5.2 and 2.9.
8.1 for LA is the current leader.
Okay. Seattle. Batting is 4.5 and 3.9.
8.4, new leader. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it's on that screen actually. If you just leave it on that first screen, you'll see it's got both.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. See, that's 3.2 and 5.9. Another new leader, 9.1 with the Giants. And what does it go for these days? Is it still about 7 or 8 million per win that you're paying for the free agent?
I'm not sure. I don't deal with the money situation. Okay,
10.2 for the Blue Jays. 10.2 is pretty good.
Yep. Not with the Angels.
No, not with the Angels, no.
And not with the Cubs.
Well, because he never stole a base with the Cubs.
We
lost all that base running value.
It is the Blue Jays that had the highest WAR overall.
All right. Blue Jays the winner.
Here, which makes sense. No one picked the Blue Jays. So then we go to the next question. Which team will be highest pitching wins? Were we able to catch that? I don't think so. I think we're focused on the batting.
No, you have to go back and look at the pitching.
I would think it's probably Toronto because he won the Cy Young, but you got to double check.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's go back. Cubs, 7. Angels, 14. Dodgers, 12. Giants, wow, 19 for the Giants.
Pretty good.
Mariners, 12. And Blue Jays, 15. So it is San Francisco Giants. Wow, I that would have probably been, other than the Cubs, that probably would have been the team I guessed the least on. Okay, so let's go back. and see if anyone chose the San Francisco Giants. Maybe Ezra Denny. Maybe. Oh, 19, I guess. 19 is the score.
Oh, 19. Oh, it's the number here. 19.
Okay. 19, 14 to 19 is the answer. We're down to 3. Underdog, Special Edition, and Canados. How many MVPs? He won 2, correct?
We won 2 MVP
2
plus
awards.
Cy Youngs. Yes.
Yep. Still down to 2. Special Edition and Canados. Tiebreaker number 1. How many Ohtanis made the All-Star game?
3. Did anyone say 3?
We go to the final tiebreaker.
All right.
What will Ohtani's final home run record or season be with Los Angeles? Do you remember what that was? What did he get with LA?
I believe they both went over.
He had
they both went over.
Did they? Ohtani with the Dodgers. Let's just do a quick double check here. Dodgers, Ohtani, 47 home runs.
Oh, no, it's 47. No, that was the one he had a bunch with. Okay, no, then they didn't go over. Then the winner is whoever said 45.
That was close. Okay.
What would have happened if they both went over?
We would have split the packs since there's only 2 people. So, without going over, our winner that predicted 45 is Special Edition. So, Special Edition, if you're in the chat, congratulations on winning the 10 packs. Canados, you were so close. I'm going to have them send 5 packs your way because we didn't do any random draws today. So you get 5 packs, Canados, and Special Edition, you get 10. Well done on your predictions there. So I guess that leaves one thing left, Charles, that we have to do. And that
Do
is...
we have to?
We have to. Unfortunately, it's like when your mom says, Charles, clean your room, and you say, do I have to? Yes, you have to. Let's make it official. Let's find out if we're still alive in the bounty.
If we are, it would be kind of a bit of a miracle.
If we are alive in the bounty, Charles is going to stream for the next 8 hours, analyzing how we're still alive in the bounty.
I'm guessing we didn't do so well in this.
Congratulations to the Clowns. The Clowns will take the bounty 3-0. They will face off with the Dodgers. The Blues take on the Masters. Remember, whoever wins the tournament now will get those 5 extra bonus packs. So good luck to our final 4. And in the quarterfinal,
after 2 off days, I bet if you check our pitching, it still hasn't quite recovered.
Well, we got destroyed in game 3, 11-4. So it was
bit of a see what happened was our tired bullpen. We did okay until our tired bullpen got in the game.
Yeah.
And then our tired bullpen was tired.
Congratulations, Boiler Nemo. Well, Charles, thank you for the impromptu. I didn't give you much warning, like half an hour or less. And thank you for coming on the show, looking at Treasure Trove week number 4, I think it was. Sporer, thanks for being involved in the chat. Thanks for, all that you do in creating these new cards, especially the ones for the community. And we are back Thursday, right, Charles? You're not traveling Thursday? You're okay Thursday?
I'm actually not traveling Thursday for once, as far as I know. To be determined. No, pretty sure I'm not traveling Thursday.
All right. Well, we're going to take you over to...
You're not traveling Thursday?
No. Not traveling. Good luck in your pack polls today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to transport you through the magic of technology over to Dr. Dynastic. Charles, see you Thursday. Enjoy
Thanks
the
for
rest of
having
your
me.
night. All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right, chat. Again, we will send out the packs to the winners. Expect them to arrive within 24 to 48 hours. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Have one. See you guys next episode.
Share tears every now and then. It's gotta rain. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day. We're here for a good time, not a long time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can shine every day. So have a good time. The sun